If there's a reason why sports have always been such a successful source of entertainment, it's that every single one of them has been able to find its share of star athletes that can put on incredible performances on a nightly basis and rack up trophies along the way. Still, even among the most talented players that have stepped onto the court, some stood out by doing things no one thought was possible, and they're in the status of greatest of all time in their respective disciplines. But while some of these athletes' status as GOATs have remained largely unchallenged, the NBA has been looking for the next Michael Jordan ever since the Bulls legend retired for good in 2003. And even though there remains a lot to be seen from LeBron James, he's been slowly but steadily making his case stronger to present the ghost of Chicago with strong competition. Welcome to Courtside. Today we'll talk about what earns a player GOAT status and how LeBron's fourth title gets him one step closer to Jordan. Before MJ came into the league, most of the NBA's best players were centers, and with due respect to Larry Bird and Magic Johnson, the debate for the greatest basketball player of all time was between Bill Russell, Wilt Chamberlain, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Of course, things started to change when number 23 took over the league in the late 80s, as even before winning a title, most players already recognized Jordan as one of the best defensive players of all time. His status was solidified after leading the Bulls to their first championship, and by the time he retired for the second time, it was clear that Jordan had turned into the best player to ever step onto an NBA court. But how is it that Jordan had such huge impact in the league despite having such a relatively short career? What separated him from the rest of the NBA legends? Well, as soon as he became a pro, Michael earned the attention of the world by proving to be one of the league's most unique talents at an early age. That, combined with a charismatic attitude, made him one of the most popular players even as a rookie. As the seasons went by and his team improved, he took a step ahead of the competition by quickly becoming one of the most dominating players in the league, earning multiple scoring titles while also suffocating his opponents on defense. That earned him multiple awards and status as a superstar. But it wasn't until he won his first title that people started looking at him as one of the best to have ever played basketball. Before being a champion, he was only considered as a great scorer, but not as a great winner. Therefore, his first championship, which came against Magic Johnson in a series that became a passing of the torch, served as a validation to his leadership. And from that point on, he never looked back. Immediately before his Bulls took over the league, both the Detroit Pistons and the Lakers had managed to win back-to-back championships. But before they did, no team had been able to win 2 titles in a row since the Celtics in the late 60s. So he put his eyes not only in matching that mark, but also in surpassing it. And to the surprise of most people at the time, he got it done. Not once, but twice. The Bulls won 3 straight titles from 1991 to 93. Were 2 years removed from championship contention following Jordan's first retirement, and then won 3 more titles from 96 to 98. Jordan, of course, won the Finals MVP in all of his team's championship runs, and that, along with the Bulls' perfect 6-0 record in the Finals, as well as the fact that he was an elite player in both ends of the court, were among the main things that earned him GOAT status. Of course, that's only part of the story. Aside from turning into the most dominant guard of all time and one of the winningest players in league history, MJ did some other things that hadn't been done before. First, he helped establish the first NBA dynasty outside of Boston, Los Angeles, or Minneapolis. Before his Bulls took over the league, only the Celtics and the Lakers had won at least 3 titles in a single decade, and it did not look like other teams could have as much success as they did. Of course, his play proved that it was possible to build a dynasty in other NBA cities, and teams like the Spurs, Heat, and Warriors were able to benefit from it in the future. Second, he helped the Bulls go from being one of the worst teams in the league to being one of the most respected organizations in all of sports. To date, Jordan's legacy is still one of the reasons why Chicago is looked at as one of the most valuable teams in the league, despite currently not playing like one. Last but not least, he took over Magic and Bird as the face of the league and helped it expand to the rest of the world. The NBA grew immensely as a business during the 80s and the 90s, and that had a lot to do with Jordan's popularity outside of the United States. What earned Jordan a place in NBA history as arguably the best player ever was the combination of his dominant playing style at both ends of the court with his team's success and the uniqueness of his career. But now, let's talk about the player that seemingly has the best chance to overthrow him as the GOAT, LeBron James. From the moment LeBron came into the league, he faced the unique challenge of becoming the league's next dominant star, expectations that no other player had ever experienced before. Still, while such expectations shouldn't have been placed on a player that was still a teenager and didn't have any kind of high-level basketball experience, somehow he's been able to live up to them, and some would say that he's already exceeded them. Since coming into the league, James has broken most of the records related to being the youngest player to do something, and he earned superstar status in just his 4th season as he guided the Cleveland Cavaliers to their first finals appearance. Of course, that finals run ended with a sweep at the hands of a much more talented San Antonio Spurs team. But the fact that a 22-year-old James was able to lead a team that could have been in the lottery to the championship series was remarkable, and it was a sign of the things that were to come in the near future. A few years after those finals, James infamously left the Cavaliers to join the Miami Heat, guided his new team to 4 straight finals appearances, won his first 2 championships, returned to Cleveland, made 8 straight finals appearances, and delivered on his promise of bringing a championship to his hometown team. He followed that up by changing teams once again, this time joining the Lakers to try to take the once proud franchise to its former glory. His first season didn't work out as expected as he suffered the first major injury of his career, which limited his availability and his impact on the court. And the team chemistry suffered because of multiple rumors regarding some of its young players. Still, by his second season with the team and with the help of newly acquired Anthony Davis, LeBron was able to end the team's longest playoff drought and then guided the purple and gold to its first championship since 2010. At the moment, James has won 4 rings, 4 MVPs, and 4 Finals MVPs, while also becoming the first player in league history to win the Finals MVP trophy with 3 different teams. And while he still trails Jordan when it comes to both awards and championships, his career has been as unique as that of the Ghost of Chicago. Throughout his career, LeBron faced the pressure of being the next Jordan and was often criticized for not being as aggressive as the Bulls legend. However, the moment he won his first championship, his playing style was validated. Some people still see James's lack of aggressiveness as an argument to diminish his case as the GOAT, but the truth is that comparing his game to that of Jordan makes no sense. Both stars play different positions and have different roles. Their bodies are also very different, despite both being incredibly athletic. MJ was a shoot-first player that always wanted the ball in his hands, especially in late-game situations. LeBron, on the other hand, is more of a creator despite also being a lethal scorer, and he always looks to set up an open shot for any of his teammates instead of trying to make a buzzer beater over multiple defenders if given the choice. Jordan spent almost his entire career with a single team, led them to multiple championships as well as to a perfect record in the finals. For his part, James has played for 3 different franchises, leading all of them to at least 1 championship while also having a personal run of 8 straight finals appearances. Jordan's peak was arguably the best in the league, but LeBron's peak has been the longest, and there's no sign of him slowing down anytime soon, despite having played in 17 seasons already. 2 more than MJ played. Jordan's Bulls were arguably the most dominant team in league history. Most of LeBron's teams, on the other hand, would probably not make it into the top 10 best teams of all time, except for the 2012-2013 Miami Heat. In short, there are many differences between the 2 legends, and the fact that both of them played in different eras doesn't make comparisons any easier. Still, we could objectively conclude at least a couple of things about them. Jordan was the best scorer among the 2, as well as perhaps the best one-on-one defender. But LeBron is the most versatile player, as well as the most durable. The King also decided to go in the opposite direction of his airness when it comes to winning with a single franchise. However, while most people use this against him, the truth is that LeBron's moves started a new era in the NBA, and rather than being scared of taking a different approach to Jordan, he embraced the possibility of writing his own history. And while he lacks the perfect record in the finals, the fact that he's been there 10 times already with 3 different teams is as remarkable as what Jordan did. After all, if it was an easy thing to do, he wouldn't be the first player to do it. But the most impressive thing about LeBron is that he might still be able to play for about 5 more years at an elite level. Human nature says that he should slow down anytime soon, but he's giving Father Time a run for his money. In the end, if James can win 2 more championships while also finishing with over 40,000 points, 10,000 assists, 10,000 rebounds, as well as with arguably the most impressive resume in league history, he could change the criteria for what makes a player be considered the greatest of all time, just like Jordan did a couple of decades ago. Altogether, we can say that comparing LeBron to Jordan is not exactly an easy thing to do, but the fact that both players can be mentioned in the same category is already a testament to their greatness. And while we won't be able to reach a definite conclusion until LeBron decides to hang his sneakers up, we can't appreciate what he's still doing and look at his career as one of the most unique in league history. And now, do you think that LeBron will be able to change the criteria when it comes to the GOAT debate? Or do you believe that's impossible for him to surpass Jordan? Let us know in the comments. We hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you did, remember to like it and subscribe to our channel for more NBA content. We are Courtside.